Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Slingy's Things. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Indominus Rex Berserker Empress Tiger Stripe Valkyrie coloring by Nanmu Studios. Whew, that was a mouthful. This is part of their Smart Series Articulated Dinosaur figurine line. And so this is a fully posable, beautiful dinosaur figure. So I have never had a Nanmu figurine before, but I love the Indominus Rex, so I decided to get this one as my first figure by them. And so I will just be sharing my thoughts, what I think about this figure, and also how I think it compares with Mattel's Jurassic World Hammond Collection figurines of other posable dinosaurs that are on the market today. So first we're going to start with the appearance of this general figure, and just by looking at it, it's gorgeous. The quality of detail here in paint, in sculpt, is just outstanding. Probably the most beautiful dinosaur figure I have. Let's just get a closer look real quick. First we'll take a look at the face, and you can see incredible detail here on the mouth. Look how realistic these teeth look, and how the texture and shininess of the mouth are just so realistic. These teeth are very, very sharp, so be careful here. Beautiful glossy eye. And as you just go throughout the rest of this dinosaur, you can see these lovely scales all throughout the body here. Wonderful wrinkles here. Again, very sharp points, including these quills, which quite pointy. Careful when you're handling this one. Not for children, for sure. Very sharp claws, and just overall gorgeous, beautiful figure. And I only have a few small complaints about the painting here, which I will demonstrate to you. So you see these wrists. It has a very smooth transition of the paint until you bend the hinge, the poor wrist, and it's not painted in there. It's not a big deal, and it wouldn't bug me normally, but it's such a gorgeously well-painted figure that I am just surprised they left this part unpainted. Unfortunately, that's on every pair of hands that this dinosaur has. It comes with hands that are sort of closed, and as you can see, no paint. And it has also, let me grab it out over here, it has like a hand where you can talk to the hand, or it can hold itself up. And again, no paint there. I'm really surprised because they purposely wanted a hinge, but just did not paint it all the way through. It might not be so noticeable on the original gray coloring, which they also released, but on this Tiger Stripe Valkyrie, you definitely notice it. And so the only other issue with the paint, which is minor or not minor depending on your point of view, is she chips quite easily, the paint. It's hard to see in just this video without very good focus, but she's already got chips like right here on her. You can kind of see a white speck there, and you can't really see it here, but it's also on the tip of her eyebrow. She's got some back here by the tail, and Nanmu says that would happen with their figures, but it's no less upsetting when you have a lot of chips on it. But it's not too big of a deal. I think unless you're handling a lot or it's falling, you're not going to have too much obvious chipping. And speaking of falling, does this baby like to fall? She cannot. She is just, you see this stand here? This came with the figurine, and she just, bam, she is going down. Now, she can stand on her own, but you have to work at it. Come on, baby. See, so you can get her standing, not in a dynamic pose by any means, but you can get her to stand. But I would not trust it at all on a shelf without that stand. I wouldn't even trust it normally, no matter where it is, without a stand. I just feel like if you're not going to be playing with it, keep her on that stand, because she likes to fall. And part of the reason for that, I believe, is just because it is a surprisingly hefty, heavy, brick-like figure. She is so heavy. And I just think it puts stress on these legs. They are not strong and reinforced enough to maintain her weight. And that isn't because really that these are loose. It's just a very heavy figure overall, which was just unexpected. Joint-wise, I think my particular one feels really good. It moves very fluid. I don't really have any problems where, some parts might feel a little bit tighter or looser than others, but it's not causing me any issues. She can pose around just fine. And she's also got something really cool. She's got cute movable toes. See that? Adorable. So you can have her lifting up and walking, or sitting. These joints move really nicely too. There's no ratchet in there, but it feels very tight while also being smooth to pose around. These are also like butter. They just feel great. Don't know how this will hold up over time if you play with it a lot, but I don't presume these were really meant to be playing with. So I don't think that's too much of a problem. And the tail here is, this is just a bunch of segmented pieces, and you do not get much out of it. A little bit left, a little bit right, hardly up and down at all. It's just not going to be too exciting what you'll be able to get with that. The worst part of the articulation, for sure, is, and I'm not trying to hate on this figure at all. Of course, I think it's beautiful. But this part is, this segmented cut here in the torso is just, in my opinion, it's worthless. It doesn't need to be there. Let's just show you how little it gets out of that. Up, down, up, down. I mean, that's just so marginal that you're not ever going to use it. Left, right, left, right. If anything, it clips in with the leg, and you're going to probably eventually get some paint transfer rubbing right there. And for what? For nothing. It also doesn't twist. I just don't see why they felt the need to do that if it wasn't going to pose, really add anything to it. I would have just left it all as one piece, and you wouldn't have any breaking here. Of course, they do the transition very nicely. You can't complain about that. They're still beautiful in there, but not necessary. I don't really know what they were thinking there. Sorry, Nanmu. Also, it might eventually loosen up there, so she might always have a little bit of a bend here. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Not at all. Of course, you get some twisting here and whatnot. The mouth doesn't open too wide, but it opens enough. So articulation-wise, not the best. Not the best, also not the worst. For what it is, I think it's great. You can still do a lot within the stand will allow you to have it in a bit better of posing, but nothing will be really, I think, totally wow or outstanding with this one. Which is fine. I do think that the value here, and it's quite an expensive figure, but I think it comes from just having a very gorgeous, lifelike sculpt with being able to at least get some motion out of it. So for what it is, I'm totally satisfied with it there. But if you are someone who's interested again in the Jurassic World Hammond collection, you'll find that their figures have less detail but more posability. So right now I'm going to compare her to a very similarly sized Hammond collection. Let's move her out. We're going to compare her to the Hammond collection Allosaurus. And here we go, just fitting him in here. So right away you can just see that, get her in there. The details are obviously just nowhere near as good. But just from looking at the head alone, you're going to see a major difference in articulation. It's like not even comparable really what you can do. But just like how the articulation isn't comparable, the looks here are not even comparable to Nanmu over there. So I think it's all in what you like, what you prefer more. I personally prefer to have a little bit more articulation and stability at the cost of looks. So I prefer actually this Allosaurus to the Nanmu Indominus completely. Just because for me, I value something that poses cool. And you can get some really good posing with this. The tail, the bendy tail, and awesome dynamic poses that you're just not going to get in the Nanmu. But again, if you want something that looks a lot better, you've got to get the Nanmu. So let's just pull this out also, because other people might be wondering how she scales up. So as you can see, she's about the size of a Hammond Collection Allosaurus, but you can just see the major difference. Let's see if I can squeeze you in there. The Hammond Collection Spinosaurus is gigantic compared to her. And we know that realistically, the Indominus Rex should be around his size. So if you want to have them scale up, the scaling doesn't match. It's not really comparable to the large Hammond Collection figures. But if that isn't something that bothers you, then get this beauty. She's beautiful. She is more expensive than him, despite being smaller. But again, a lot of that goes into the detail work, the paint, and the high quality materials they've used for this design. So that's about all I wanted to say. It's still a gorgeous figure. I mean, look at the difference in detail just at the feet. I mean, there is just no comparison there about which one is the more detailed. But just taking her on her own, gorgeous figure. And I think Nanmu did an excellent job on this thing. And I'm really happy that I finally decided to get one of these and add it to my collection. So I recommend it, and stick around to the very end to see some fun photos. So thank you for following along, and see you next time. Bye.